Hello everybody, MechaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I took the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. Could be a game, could be a limited edition, could be a console, etc. This is my one time of the week to be able to pull something off my shelf and talk to y'all each and every week. And for today, we're going to be talking about none other than Metroid Samus Returns. Because by golly, this right here is a freaking beautiful Metroid game, like both inside and out. Like just look at this box art. I would say this is probably one of my most favorite 3DS box arts. I'm just saying right here though, but nonetheless though, I had to talk about this game because it was by far, I would definitely say, the one game in the series that actually had brought me into the Metroid series. Yes, I played some, Super Metroid back in the day though, but you know what? This is the one that fully got me immersed within the Metroid series as a whole. So I had to talk about it, at least within one of these collection reflection videos. So that's gonna be the topic for today's video though. So if you really like this video, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Samus Returns. Now, this right here, I would say there's a reason why that Samus Returns is the name of this Metroid game, because when you think about it, this is basically a reimagining or a remake of the original Metroid 2 Return of Samus. And if you were to go back and look at that original Game Boy game, which you're actually able to play that on the NSO right now though, you can tell that that game hasn't necessarily aged the best out of like almost all the Metroid. I would say basically the second game and the first game in the series are probably the roughest ones to go through. Hence, that's the reason why we have remakes of both of those, like Zero Mission with the first, and then Samus Returns with this one with the second one, though. So obviously, it hasn't quite aged the best. And I remember back at the time, whenever this game was first revealed, it was like at an E3 of 2017. It wasn't actually showcased off in the main show where, we got all of these announcements left and right. And with it being the E3 of 2017, we had some 3DS announcements, but a lot of it was like Switch announcements and, setting up for the second half of the year and stuff. I remember they were talking about a whole bunch of games and stuff at Treehouse though, but Samus Returns was one of those surprise games that wasn't in the main show, but actually got revealed within the Treehouse Live, which I wasn't expecting an announcement of it there. Now, granted, we were right off the heels of the big major announcement, that being Metroid Prime 4 being announced. Unfortunately, to this day, we still don't have that game at least out or announced by the time I'm still recording this video. So it's like, oh, we've been waiting on that sucker for, golly, it's been almost like 6, 7 years. Gosh dang. I don't really like to think about it that much. I know we're going to get that game at some point though, but we just want to have to wait until the Switch 2 drops. I'm pretty sure that's when the game is going to get showcased and revealed and give us, a month, day, and a year release though. But all things considered, coming right off the heels of that, everybody was hyped through the moon for that Metroid Prime 4 announcement. And then they came out and said, yes, that's not the only Metroid game we got in the works, because we got Samus Returns also in the mix. And obviously with this being a remake of the second game, I was like, whoa, this is a lot of Metroid went in one showcase. Like, the Metroid series ain't like your Mario series or the up-and-coming Splatoon series or Animal Crossing. Ain't one of those big mega hitters where you can sell millions upon millions of units. So the fact we got 2 Metroid announcements within a short period of span like this is like, what the heck? But when I saw this game and everything they showcased off at that Treehouse event, I was like, you know what? It's probably finally time for me to take the plunge, because at least in terms of my overall experience within the Metroid series, I knew about Samus, aka like most Nintendo characters, via Smash Brothers, starting all the way back from Smash Brothers 64 on all the way up through, Smash 4 at the time though. So I knew about Samus back then, but in terms of anything else within Samus' stuff, yes, I did manage to get the SNES Classic, which did allow me to play, Super Metroid at the time though. I think that was mostly all of my Metroid knowledge. So when I saw this, and I was like, hey, it's a remake, it's, of an older game, and it's modern, convenient, easy to kind of get used to. I was like, you know what, why not try this though? Now, this game right here, if it weren't for Samus Returns, I don't think Metroid Dread, the game we have on the Switch right now, will be nearly as good as it is if it weren't for this game right here. Because a lot of these, in terms of, the items, or the maneuverability and some of these other special abilities that Samus is able to do in this game directly pulled from that and got implemented into Metroid Dread, because the people that actually made this game were none other than Mercury Steam. At first, I was like, I didn't know who or what this company is though, but after making this game, it definitely put them on the map since they made this as well as Metroid Dread. But some of the cool things that they did manage to implement in this game that wasn't necessarily there within the first game for the Return of Samus, we did manage to get some melee counters up in here, so that allows, you know, Samus to be able to get really close and personal, because you think about Samus as a character that just runs around, shoots different aliens and stuff like that though. But in terms of like a melee counter, it's like, oh goodness, now she got some, you know, tricks up her sleeve though. Then you had the implication of the free aim, which allowed, you know, use Samus's arm cannon and rotate that around within a full 360 degrees. Now, with you playing this on the 3DS and having that circle pad, you know, that made that option viable. So it's like, if you can think back to most other Metroid games, like I'll pull an example like Super Metroid. When you're running and gunning in that game, all you can do is basically run, shoot in front of you, shoot straight up, and then shoot at like a catty corner angle. That's usually how you manage to shoot most of your enemies throughout that game. It's usually within like those 3 to 4 different presets, even shooting, you know, directly down below you though. However, with this one having a free motion, well, yes, you did have to kind of stand still at certain points to get all of that free motion available to you. You know what? That was one really cool thing. It did allow for different unique puzzles where you have to hit at certain weird angles. Whenever you're able to fight certain boss fights, like you're able to actually shoot and, you know, hit at certain unique angles up in here. So that did manage to change up quite a bit of stuff, at least within your strategy of taking down things. And then not only just, you know, movement was another cool thing that they managed to put up in this game though, but you did manage to have these ion abilities, which necessarily weren't there within the classic version of Metroid 2, because you had things such as like scan pulls, which allows you to briefly like reveal nearby breakable objects in map info, which, oh shoot, when you're going through and playing a Metroid game like this, there's a lot of hidden blocks and stuff if you want to find all the secrets and stuff that are hidden within this big old Metroidvania game. So that really comes in handy. You had things such as like the lightning armor that allows you to absorb charge and an electrical barrier. Then you had things such as like the beam burst that destroyed enemies with rapid fire attacks. And then you had the phase drift, which allows you to slow down time for everyone but Samus herself. So that allowed you to kind of get in there, get a few little extra hits, or possibly run away from something if you didn't want to actually fight it back then though. So there was a lot of cool, neat, interesting tricks to Samus' sleeves that were introduced within this game right here, especially the melee counter. I can't tell you how many times I managed to use that melee counter over and over and over. That was probably like a very integral part of Samus' toolkit, because I felt like a lot of the Metroids that you have to hunt down, because at least, you know, one of the big major focuses within this game was you had to go through and eliminate and exterminate all of the Metroids that are there on the planet though. So felt like every time a Metroid tried to rush you, you always had to do a counterattack. While yes, I would say maybe one of the negative things, and I think a lot of people probably point this out that have played this game, is the repetitiveness in terms of you using like your melee counters. And I would say mostly all of the Metroid fights feel pretty basic. Like you kind of do the same rhythm, song, and dance over and over and over. Yes, they do manage to evolve those fights a little bit more so, like maybe the Metroid took advantage or, you know, took control over some other kind of monster or alien, you know, in the nearby vicinity. So they do tweak it up just a little bit though, but you know, it's just kind of gradually until you get all the way to the final boss, and then that one's like completely unique. And then they even added in like one extra boss up in here that wasn't even present in the original Metroid 2, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you know me, I love myself some Ridley. So the fact that they managed to somehow cram him up in this game as well though, I was like, heck freaking yes though. But nonetheless though, I still think that Samus Returns was a really phenomenal game. And I think there was a reason why they called it Samus Returns, because of the fact that they really wanted to bring Samus back into the limelight and just kind of showcase off like, hey, she's a back image and a character. There's a reason why she was in all these other Smash Brothers games. Definitely, I would dare say, is probably like one of the strongest Nintendo women out there. And the fact that we started off with this game, we had the announcement of Metroid Prime 4, which should happen at some point though. Well, we did manage to get Metroid Prime Remaster, and then also this had a whole bunch of other Metroid games such like the original Metroid 1, 2. You can even play Metroid Fusion, all available on the NSO. I think you're able to basically play every game from Metroid 1 all the way to Metroid 5, whether it be the originals or some kind of form of the remakes, available to play on the Switch. I just wish that somehow this Samus Returns game managed to get ported over from the Nintendo 3DS to the Nintendo Switch. Like what? I have like Luigi's Mansion 2 that's coming over. Like we got some 3DS games coming over. So, it's only a matter of time until they start implementing more. And if it doesn't happen on the Nintendo Switch, probably will happen on the Switch 2 or whatever the next generation console that Nintendo happens to cook out though. But yeah, overall, Samus Returns is a great game. And since I played this game, I went back and played Metroid Fusion. I played Zero Mission, obviously played Dread, try to delve a little bit more within Super Metroid. Just go through the whole entire Metroid series, at least the 2D ones, because I think I'm a bigger fan of the 2D Metroids versus the 3D ones. Yes, I tried the Metroid Prime Remaster, but something about the original 2D ones, they just kind of tend to click and vibe with me a bit more so than I think the 3D ones, because it's something about the maps. I don't know. The 3D maps, I don't know, they always kind of throw me off. At least the 2D ones, I know where I'm going, at least for the most part, until they kind of throw a monkey wrench at you or something like that, though. But nonetheless, though, Samus Returns is a freaking phenomenal Metroid game. If you hadn't tried this game out, I highly recommend you to do so. I think it's still kind of somewhat easily possible to get this game roughly around the MSRP, because originally this game sold for like $40, so I think it's still possible to go out there and get that game. So if if you're curious about it, there are means and ways of you being able to go out there and do it though. But nonetheless, this is a Metroid game I think that really brought back Samus as a character and try to bring as many new fans introduced to the series that wait for this game, Metroid Dread, and anything else that happens to come out, beyond that though. So overall, I really love this game though. So you gotta let me know down in the comment section down below all that you think about Metroid Samus Returns. Have you managed to play it? Have I piqued your curiosity, or or anywhere else in between? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like this, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.